Picture this, it's 2 a.m. and you're staring at your phone screen, watching those 3 dots appear and disappear. You've crafted the perfect message. Casual enough to seem cool, but engaging enough to get a response. You hit send and then nothing. Hours turn into days and that little delivered notification starts mocking you. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Millions of people are trapped in this digital dance of desperation, checking their phones every 5 minutes, crafting follow-up messages they'll never send, and slowly losing pieces of themselves in the process. But what if I told you that the moment you stop playing this game is the moment you actually win it? Let's get one thing straight. This isn't about playing games or manipulating anyone. This is about something far more powerful. Understanding your own worth and refusing to diminish it for temporary validation. Every unreturned text, every seen message without a reply, every late-night overthinking session, they're all symptoms of a deeper issue. You've handed over control of your emotional state to someone else's notification settings, and it's time to take that power back. Today, we're going to explore why stepping back isn't giving up. It's stepping up. We'll dive into the psychology behind attraction, the freedom that comes with acceptance, and most importantly, how to build a life so fulfilling that whether someone texts back becomes completely irrelevant. Here's something nobody wants to hear, but everyone needs to understand. If someone wants to talk to you, they will. In our hyper-connected world, we're never more than arm's reach from our phones. We check them while eating, sleeping, even in the bathroom. So when someone takes days to respond to your message, it's not because they're busy. It's because responding to you isn't a priority. And that stings, doesn't it? But here's where most people make their biggest mistake. They interpret silence as a puzzle to solve rather than an answer in itself. They think, maybe they didn't see it, or maybe they're playing hard to get, or maybe if I send one more message, stop. Just stop. When you've clearly communicated your interest, whether through words, actions, or time spent together, the other person knows exactly where you stand. They're not confused about your feelings. The question isn't whether they understand, it's whether they reciprocate. Think of it like this. Imagine someone keeps offering you a sandwich you don't want. The first time you politely decline. The second time you're slightly annoyed. By the third time you're avoiding them altogether. That's exactly what happens when you keep reaching out to someone who isn't matching your energy. The most attractive thing you can do, respect their silence as an answer and respect yourself enough not to keep asking the same question. Human psychology has a fascinating quirk. We're naturally drawn to what we can't fully understand or predict. It's why we binge-watch mystery shows, why limited edition items fly off shelves, and why the most captivating people in your life probably aren't the ones constantly seeking your attention. When you're consistently available, constantly texting, constantly trying to spark conversations, you eliminate mystery. You become as predictable as a morning alarm. Reliable, but not exciting. You've essentially turned yourself into background noise in their life. But what happens when you suddenly go quiet? Suddenly you become the mystery they didn't realize they were curious about. Questions start forming. Why haven't they texted me? Did I say something wrong? Are they okay? Are they with someone else? This isn't about playing games, it's about understanding basic human nature. We value what seems scarce, what requires effort to obtain, what might slip away if we don't pay attention. Consider the most charismatic people you know. They don't chase conversations. They create them. They don't overwhelm others with attention. They make their attention feel valuable. They understand that sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. By stepping back, you're not being cruel or manipulative. You're simply allowing natural curiosity to work in your favor. You're creating space for them to miss your presence instead of take it for granted. And here's the beautiful part. Even if they don't reach out, you've already won by breaking the cycle of desperation that was draining your energy. Let's address the elephant in the room. No contact isn't about punishment or revenge. It's about creating healthy boundaries and giving both parties space to gain perspective. When you implement no contact, 3 powerful things happen. First, you break the addiction. Yes, constantly checking your phone and hoping for responses creates the same dopamine patterns as gambling. Every potential notification becomes a lottery ticket, and you're stuck in a cycle of hope and disappointment. No contact breaks this cycle cold turkey. Second, you create scarcity. Remember those sneakers you never cared about until they sold out? That's the scarcity principle in action. When your attention becomes rare rather than constant, its perceived value skyrockets. Third, you reclaim your mental real estate. Instead of spending hours analyzing their last message or crafting the perfect response, you redirect that mental energy toward things that actually matter. Your goals, your growth, your happiness. But here's the crucial part. No contact only works when it's genuine. If you're sitting by your phone, white-knuckling your way through not texting while secretly hoping they'll break first, you're missing the point entirely. Real no contact means genuinely focusing on your life. It means going to the gym, pursuing your interests, spending time with friends who value your presence, and building something meaningful. It's not about making them miss you. It's about creating a life so fulfilling that you stop missing the drama. The irony? The less you care about whether they respond, the more likely they are to reach out. And the more you focus on yourself, the less you'll care if they do. While you've been playing supporting actor in someone else's story, who's been the protagonist in yours? This is where everything changes. Instead of investing energy in someone who's giving you breadcrumbs, it's time to feast at your own table. Physical transformation isn't just about looking better, it's about feeling unstoppable. When you're crushing it at the gym, you carry yourself differently. Your confidence isn't dependent on external validation, because you're proving to yourself daily that you can set goals and achieve them. Skill development adds layers to your personality. Learn that language you've been putting off. Master that instrument gathering dust in your closet. Become dangerously good at something that lights you up. Not for anyone else, for you. Career advancement isn't just about money, it's about purpose. When you're building something meaningful, when you're solving problems and creating value, you naturally become more attractive. People are drawn to purpose and ambition like moths to flame. Social connections remind you that your worth isn't determined by one person's opinion. Reconnect with friends who knew your value before you started questioning it. Build new relationships based on mutual respect and shared interests. Here's what happens when you focus on these areas. You stop checking your phone every few minutes because you're genuinely busy building something awesome. You stop overthinking conversations because you have better things to think about. You stop seeking external validation because you're generating internal satisfaction. And suddenly, whether they text back becomes irrelevant. You're not waiting for your life to start when they respond. Your life is already amazing, with or without them in it. Here comes the hard truth that might sting but will ultimately set you free. Not everyone is meant to be in your story. And that's not a bug, it's a feature. Acceptance isn't giving up or settling. It's recognizing that trying to force connection with someone who doesn't naturally gravitate toward you is like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. You'll exhaust yourself, damage both pieces, and end up with nothing that works. Real acceptance means saying, I put myself out there authentically. I showed my interest clearly. If that wasn't enough to spark genuine reciprocation, then we simply weren't meant to be. And that's okay. This doesn't make you less worthy, less attractive, or less deserving of love. It makes you incompatible with that particular person, and incompatibility is not a character flaw. Think about your favorite foods. Are they objectively the best foods in the world? Probably not. But they're perfect for your taste buds. Someone else might find them disgusting, and that doesn't make either of you wrong. Chemistry, attraction, and connection work the same way. They're deeply personal and can't be manufactured through persistence alone. When you truly accept this, something magical happens. You stop taking rejection personally. You start seeing it as valuable information rather than a judgment on your worth. You become grateful for the clarity rather than frustrated by the outcome. This acceptance doesn't make you passive, it makes you selective. You stop wasting energy on connections that require constant effort to maintain and start investing in relationships that flow naturally. Want to hear something that might blow your mind? The best relationships often happen when you're not actively seeking them. When you're genuinely content with your life, when you've built something beautiful for yourself, when you radiate the energy of someone who doesn't need anyone else to complete them, that's when you become magnetic to the right people. It's counterintuitive, but desperation repels while contentment attracts. When you're not seeking validation, people want to give it to you. When you're not chasing attention, you naturally command it. I've seen this pattern countless times. Someone gets tired of the dating games, focuses on themselves, starts thriving independently, and suddenly finds themselves with options they never had when they were trying so hard. But here's the beautiful twist. By the time this happens, your standards have risen so dramatically that you're not interested in settling for anyone who doesn't match your energy. You're no longer attracted to people who play games because you've outgrown the need for drama. The person who once had you checking your phone every 5 minutes, they might reach out eventually, but you'll realize they no longer fit into the life you've built. You'll have attracted people who text back promptly because they're genuinely excited to hear from you. This isn't about becoming cold or unavailable. It's about becoming whole. Complete people attract complete people. Secure people build secure relationships. So here's your challenge, and it's not what you might expect. I'm not going to tell you to delete their number or block them on social media. That's still making your decisions about them rather than for you. Instead, I want you to do something radical. Make your life so interesting that you forget to check if they've texted back. Start that project you've been postponing. Book that trip you've been dreaming about. Call that friend you haven't spoken to in months. Sign up for that class that scares and excites you. Create a life so fulfilling that other people's validation becomes nice to have rather than necessary to survive. And here's what I guarantee will happen. 6 months from now, you'll look back at this moment as the turning point, not because someone finally texted you back, but because you finally texted yourself back to the life you deserve. Stop waiting for your phone to light up with their message. Start lighting up the world with your presence. Your worth isn't determined by response times. Your value isn't measured in read receipts. Your happiness doesn't depend on someone else's notification settings. The most attractive version of yourself isn't the one desperately seeking external validation. It's the one so secure in their own worth that they can walk away from anything that doesn't serve them. So close this app, put down your phone, and go build something beautiful. Your future self is waiting, and they're not checking their messages. The conversation that matters most is the one you're about to have with your potential. Start it now.